Hello. If you're catching this part, you're probably catching the replay. Go ahead and type replay in the comments so I know who tuned in and checked this out. Tonight's video is all about using your Scentsy business using 3 simple steps to grow your Scentsy business by 30%. Doing 3 easy tips. So basically, hey ladies, gonna give everybody a couple of minutes to jump on. It is 5:57, so I'm a little bit early, and listened to this training myself earlier this week. Hey Trisha, how was Florida? Hey Selena. I just booked a mini vacation in February. Hey Jen, a long weekend in Miami with Jenny. So we are excited. Donna, hey, how are you? All these rock stars tuning in. So yeah, I just booked a long weekend in Miami with my best friend, and we booked our flights. So now we just need to figure out which hotel we're gonna stay at. So if anybody has ever stayed at a nice hotel in the Miami Beach area, let me know, because we've looked at a couple and we haven't booked it yet. So we wanna be on the beach, and we want a pool, and we wanna be close to like restaurants and things like that. So that's exciting. I can't wait. I shouldn't wish the next 4 months away. We have plenty to do in between, but okay. So I think I'm going to get started. So I was listening to, and some of you may have caught Rachel's podcast, but that's okay if you did, because if you're listening to the Rachel Hollis podcast on Tuesdays, then you may have caught it a couple weeks ago, or maybe it was last week. It was right after she did the Rodan and Fields convention, and she kind of went off the cuff and just did a quick segment about increasing your, specifically for people in direct sales. If you already caught Rachel's podcast, great, keep watching, because I've actually listened to it twice already, actually 2.5 times. Because sometimes I feel like we have to hear things a couple of times before we like ingrain it in our brains and really fully understand it and put it into practice. So keep listening if you did catch Rachel's podcast, and if you listen to this and then you want to go listen to Rachel's after, I highly recommend that too, because she obviously always puts her own spin on things. But this was like directed directly at direct sales, and it was all about how we can do 3 simple things every single time to increase our sales, okay? So a lot of the times we can get very, very focused on thinking about booking parties and recruiting, and that is so, so important, and I'm totally guilty of this, but we always want to be focusing on our sales as well. So I will often be so heavily focused on booking parties and trying to get people to join my team that I'll skip out on the monthly sales that I might be able to capture if I did some of these things, or did extra follow-up, or did more follow-up. So I'm just gonna jump right in. Basically, so back in March, I think it was. Back in March, I went to a leadership retreat put on by our superstar director, Jen Audette's sponsor, whose name you probably see in your email, Becca Levi, and her daughter, Callie. They put on a leadership training down in Florida that I went to. It was a week long. It's so fun. And the name of the training retreat was Make Shift Happen. And if you're lucky, you may have recently gotten some lip balms from me that say Make Shift Happen on them, and that's where I got those lip balms. So anyways, the basis of that training, and the basis of a lot of trainings, I'm just going to adjust that a little bit, is that little shifts in your daily, weekly, and monthly routines make big differences. So just making little tweaks and little changes can have magnitude, like huge magnifying results on your business. So I saw a thing on Facebook the other day, and it basically just said like, What if I told you that 6 months worth of hard dedication can turn into 2 years, could like translate into 2 years of hard work? So basically, if you work really hard for 6 months, you could get 2 years ahead of yourself by being consistent and making little shifts. So how do you increase your revenue by 30%? So first, we're gonna look at the first 10%. How do you grow by the first 10%? And you would do that by looking at the number of customers that you're currently serving, the current number of customers that are in your contact tab of your workstation, and growing that number by 10%. So if you have 10 customers in your database, you want to go and find 10% more customers. 10% of 10 is one new customer. So if you're new and you only have 10 customers, focus every single month or every single week. The more you focus on growing by 10%, the faster you'll grow and the more money you'll make. But basically, find 10% more customers. If you have 50 customers in your database, go find 5 new customers. And if you have 100 customers in your database, go find 10 new customers. So the simple theory there is take your customer base and grow it by 10%. Whatever that number is, multiply it by 0.1, and that's the number of new customers that you need to go bring into your business and make them your customer. If you want to grow faster, grow by 20%, grow by 30%, grow by 50%, but pay attention to the numbers so that you know that you're actually achieving these things and you'll have grown your business by 10%, okay? So it's really simple math, and that's what I like about this concept, this entire thing. I just kind of touched on step 1, but the whole process of getting to 30% higher revenue and therefore bigger paychecks is really simple math that we just need to remember to incorporate all the time. So when we're like, okay, what can I do to grow my business? How do I get more sales? How do I get more parties? Okay, boom, I've got to grow by 10%. I got to grow my customer base by 10%. Now, how can you grow your Scentsy business by 10%? This is stuff Rachel obviously didn't cover, but I took down some notes when I was listening to the training, and my ideas were: ask for referrals. So take your best customers, your friends, your family, and ask for referrals. Give them a scent circle if they refer a new customer. Put out a referral program in all your bags, like a little piece of paper, drop it in your orders and say, hey, the best gift you could give me is a referral. Send somebody my way so I can spoil them as my Scentsy customer. Something as basic as that. If you can't think of a great and one of my favorite ways to grow your customer base is to make a list of 100 people you know. Go through your Facebook friends, think about all your coworkers, think about your friends, your relatives, your coworkers, friends of family, people you know through your children, so maybe your friends' parents, people you know through daycare, the dentist, the doctor, so many different ways that you can think of people that you already know that you just need to contact. Maybe reach out, maybe mail them something, send them a sample, send them a catalog, grow your company, grow your business by 10%. Social media is a great way to spread the word and get some new customers that way. Do a sample club, hand out samples, maybe put a pile of samples at a local hair salon with your contact information. Or, hey, Joanne, I'm talking about growing your customer base by 10%, no matter what. Like, figure out how many customers you have, multiply it by 10%, and start growing your customer base by 10%. That is going to increase your entire base by 10%. Put your name out there on bulletin boards, in the schools. Try to get fundraisers that will branch you out to a whole new group of people. Do an event and just focus on getting door prize slips and getting contacts and doing all of those things. Moving on, the second way to grow your business by another 10% is to start selling, increasing the average transaction amount with all of your customers by 10%. So, how do we do that? You already have a customer base. Start every time a customer buys from you, mentally prepare yourself to increase that order by 10%. Now, how do we do that? For me, out of all 3 steps, this for me would be the easiest step of them all. And it will make such a big difference. Just doing this one teeny tiny step every single time will increase your sales by 10%. You add that up over time, that's a little shift making an enormous difference in your income, in your business, in your customers' lives, in the amount of Scentsy that you get out into the world. So increase every transaction by 10%. Now, think about this. These customers are already spending money with you. They're already committing to placing an order. So adding 10% is really not a big deal. It's not like you have people saying, oh, I'm broke, I can't place an order. They're saying, here, I want to order this, and you're simply saying, oh, how can I increase that order by 10%? So, for example, someone orders a 6-pack of wax because they always buy wax from you, and it's time for them to replenish their stock. You've told them about the buy 5, get 1 free deal, and you'd sell them a 6-pack of wax, and that comes out to $30 PRV, right? So $30, 10% of $30, you only need to sell them $3 more to increase that transaction by 10%. So you might say, oh, great choices. Which of those 6 is your favorite? And they might say aloe, water, and cucumber. And you say, oh, you should get that in a scent circle for your car. I have it in my car. It smells amazing. It's one of my favorites. Do you want to add a scent circle to your order for your car? Sure, it's only $3 more. You just increased your order by 10%. You took the transaction that was $30 and you increased it by 10% just by selling them a scent circle. Another great way to always supplement and increase your average transaction is to remind the customer to stock up on bulbs. So I rarely sell 1 light bulb for $2. I always upsell to the 3-pack for $5. Now, if you have Scentsy customers that are always buying wax from you, or maybe they just started buying wax from you, at some point the light bulb's going to burn out and they're going to need new light bulbs. So you are literally doing them a service by saying, hey, when I put this order in for you, did you need any bulbs? Did you need to stock up on any bulbs? Hey, Jamie Johnson, Collins, Jamie Johnson. Okay. Oh my gosh, I always get that confused because you're Johnson on Facebook and Collins in my workstation, and I always think I have it wrong. It's Johnson. Okay, moving on. If you had a customer that placed a $100 order, you could increase that transaction by 10% by upselling them $10 more worth of product. Maybe a light bulb and a room spray. Hey, what's your favorite scent that you're buying? Hey, have you tried our room spray? They're really awesome when you have your wax going, but all of a sudden company stops by, or you just got home from work and you want to like freshen up the air. That's what I do. Like a lot of times when I get home from work, I spray the room spray and it like brings to life the wax that's already in the air. Or maybe they need a room spray for their bathroom, or maybe they need 10 light bulbs. I don't know. Just think about what they're buying and how you can offer an item to increase the sale by 10% that comes across as a service. Now, a lot of people get really creepy about the word selling and like sales. They don't want to be thought of as a salesperson, and they don't want to think about upselling. But think about it like this. The number 1 product that you stand a chance of upselling is your favorite product. So think about that right now. What is your favorite product? What is your favorite Scentsy product? Whatever comes to mind, or what is your favorite scent? What is your favorite scent in that product? Whatever it is, think about your favorite product. So right off the bat, when somebody says to me, what is your favorite Scentsy product? Outside of wax and warmers, my favorite Scentsy product is the washer whiffs. I have no problem selling washer whiffs. Now, the disadvantage of being really good at selling washer whiffs is how heavy your order boxes are, right? That's the only disadvantage to being really good at selling washer whiffs, because man, when my parties come in and I have to lug them inside, it is literally, and then lug them back to the car to take to the customer, my boxes are so heavy. But anyways, I'm rambling. the best product to upsell to anyone at any given time is your favorite product. So I'll tell you a little story. Jenny, my best friend who used to be in Scentsy, her very favorite product was the room sprays. She would sell more room sprays than any consultant I've ever seen or known. She was obsessed with the room sprays. But that's why she sold so many, because she was obsessed with the room sprays. I feel the exact same way about the coconut lemongrass washer whiffs up until now. Now it's aloe water and cucumber. It really doesn't matter. I'm obsessed with both of them. But anyhow, that's a really good product to upsell. So when you are at a party and you're like, hey, I know you're gonna buy wax. I know you're gonna buy whatever. I know you're gonna buy light bulbs. I know you're gonna buy a new warmer. Hey, if you wanna do yourself a favor, get my favorite product, which is the washer whiffs. Just try them. I promise you won't be disappointed. You're gonna love them. You're not really selling. You're just super passionate about your favorite product. And then they decide, hey, if she loves it that much, maybe I'll love it that much. And I'm already spending money. What's one more little $12 item added on at the end of the day, right? So they can try the 16-ounce washer whiffs for $12 and they'll fall in love, and then they're hooked on a new product that's consumable, because that's the thing. Our products are consumable, which makes them so much better to sell and represent, but then they're gonna come back for more, okay? So your very favorite product is the best way to increase your overall sales by 10% by increasing every single transaction. So from now on, every time you guys get an order or you're at a party or whatever, look at that bottom subtotal amount, and if it's $50, say, okay, I gotta sell another $5. Now, what could I sell them? Oh, I could sell them a travel tin. I could sell them a pack of bulbs, a 3-pack of bulbs. I could sell them a car bar, which would be actually more than 10%. I can sell them a couple of scent circles, one for them and one for their husband. Like, get creative, but just every single time you get an order, just ask. If they say no, who cares? Be like, do you want to add a scent circle to that order? No, I'm all set. Okay, great. Thank you. Oh, just thought I'd ask. Just making sure. A lot of people like to add. And that's another thing. Like, people like to do what other people like to do, right? So when you say, now, I'm just asking because a lot of people like to add scent circles to their car, but they forget. Did you want to add any items for the car into this order? Or, hey, just a reminder, did you need any laundry products? Did you need any light bulbs? Did you need any room sprays? Do you need any kitchen soap or hand soap or lotion? Like, whatever it might be. Just power of suggestion is powerful. So use it, and use it to your advantage to increase your average transaction by 10%. Okay, moving on to the last way to increase your sales by another 10%. And when we put all these three things together, it's going to be 30%. So the last way to increase your business and your revenue is to increase the number of times that they buy by 10%. So take the number of times a customer might order in a year, and you want to increase that by 10%. So you want to get another transaction out of them or another couple of transactions out of them. It all depends how much they order, but just that incremental 10%, maybe it's one more order per year or 3 more orders per year, is going to increase your yearly sales with that customer by 10%. And then you go back and you multiply it by all the customers you have. If you're increasing everybody's number of times they purchase, you're going to increase your sales enormously. Okay, so I encourage you to do more follow-up. Check in with customers. Now, let me tell you a little bit about follow-up. A lot of people get a complex and a fear about follow-up because when they think about follow-up, they're picturing themselves coming home from work, sitting down at the kitchen table with a stack of order forms and a phone and having to call people and ask them if they want to reorder Scentsy. That is not always follow-up. That's a great follow-up technique. If you want to sit down and do that, have at it, sister. I think that's a great idea. If you want to sit down and text everybody through Maven, fantastic idea. Another really great way to do follow-up is check in with them often, but not to sell them something. Just say, hey, how are you liking that baked apple pie wax I dropped off a couple weeks ago? Or, hey, I just thought of you. I started a load of laundry with the coconut lemon grass washer whiffs, and it reminded me that that's the last thing you bought from me. How are you liking yours? There's so many different ways to check in with your customers, build relationships that build that foundation for them to say, oh my gosh, I love it. I love it so much that I used it all. Can I order more? Or, hey, Emily, thanks for checking in. I am loving that wax. Then the next time you check in and you're like, hey, are you out of wax yet? Did you need to place an order? They're like, oh, I love this girl. She checks in with me even when I don't need to order, and then she follows up with me when I do need to order. So Rachel Hollis gave a really good example. She was talking about the girl that does her lash extensions. Like, she knows that Rachel loves to have her lashes done, and she loves to do, I just had a message come through asking to book a party. Yay! So if Rachel doesn't book an appointment to have her lashes filled, her lash girl will text her, which A, is her preferred method of contact, so you're already winning there. She will B, say, hey, I haven't heard from you in a while. Your lashes are probably due for a fill. I have these 3 dates available. Do any of these work for you? Did you want to grab one? So we can apply that same technique. And Rachel looks at it as a service because she's like, great, I do want my lashes done. I need to book an appointment, but I just haven't gotten around to it. So you look at it like you're doing them a service, and they will thank you. So you can say, hey, I'm placing a bulk order. If you want to get in on this and get your free shipping, I know you haven't ordered wax, bulbs, or washer whiffs in a while, so I just wanted to check in. Let me know if you want me to add that to the order for you. So that's a great way to check in. It comes across as a service, no pressure. It's not like desperate, like I need these sales or something's gonna happen to me or I'm shy of my goal. It's just like, hey, you're my customer. I wanna take care of you. Do you need anything? How can I help you? How can I be at your service? Okay? So another great way to increase the number of times they buy is, and I am so guilty of this, you guys, I am guilty of this. So what I do, and I did this for a long time, and I'm just breaking the habit. I have these great hostesses that book a couple of times per year, and I have this tendency to assume that A, no one that was at the party wants to reorder until they go to the next party. Okay, that's my first bad assumption / mistake that I did for many, many years. I assumed that if you were at Jen's party in February, that you don't want to order anything from me until you go to Jen's party in July. Wrong. We need to be checking in with them every couple of months because people use Scentsy fast and they want more, but a lot of times they're saying, oh, well, I'll just wait until that party because I don't want to reach out to that girl and I don't really know that girl, or I only met her that once at that party and she's not going to know who I am and I don't have time or whatever. So they're not reaching out to us for the same reasons we're not reaching out to them. So that's the first myth that I love to bust, is that people do need to order in between parties, okay? And then the second bad assumption that I was making for a long time is that just because customer A was at Jen's party in February, I would assume that she will be at Jen's party in July. I assumed that if Jen had a party in February, all the exact same people are going to come to that same party that she booked for July, which is wrong because schedules change, friendships change, things change. They don't always come to the second party. And then I'm at the second party and I already forgot about Susie from the first party because now I've got Sally, Jane, and Susie at the next party, right? So don't convince yourself that you have to keep your customer base shopping at parties. Parties are parties are the lifeblood of this business, of this company. Parties are where it's at when it comes to Scentsy and direct sales. But in between the parties, we have to be checking in with these customers and we have to be getting additional orders throughout the year from these customers, okay? Use Maven, use it as a follow-up tool, check in, mail a thank you card. Like, people don't get snail mail anymore, and when they do, it makes them happy. Like, get a bunch of cute postcards, go to the post office, buy a roll of postcard stamps. They're 28 cents a piece. Make your cute little cards on Vistaprint or decorate them yourself or do whatever you want, and just mail out some postcards and say, thank you for being my customer. or stick a sample in the mail and check in with them. Say, hey, I appreciate you being a customer. Here's a sample of the scent of the month. Start a scent of the month club. Start a group of women that just want to buy 1 bar or 1 6-pack a month of the scent of the month, or a mix of scents each month, and start a club. Start a wax club or an every other month club. Use your Scentsy Club, the one that they've provided for us to get people signed up for Scentsy Club. They can get free shipping. They can get $5 shipping. They can get so many options, products. They can change them. They can set the frequency. Utilize that tool. That tool was designed for exactly what we're talking about, which is to increase the number of transactions per year for your customers. Alrighty. Okay, so I'm gonna recap and then I'm going to finish up, but basically it's 6:20, so I'm doing pretty good on time. I wanted to keep it under 30 minutes. We're increasing our revenue by 30% by doing 3 specific things. 1, we're increasing our number of customers by 10%. If you really break it down and do the math, it is possible. 2nd, we are increasing the average transaction amount of each customer we service by 10%. So every single order we take, multiply by 10% and sell them something extra to increase every single order by 10%. And lastly, the 3rd step is to increase the number of times a customer buys from you by 10%. Add those 3 things together and you have increased your annual sales revenue by 30%. I have not even touched on the fact of what would happen if you increase the number of parties you did each year by 10%, or the number of team members you add to your Scentsy team each year. Because if you started adding 10% to your team every single month, you guys, your paychecks would explode, okay? They would literally explode if you were increasing your team. So I'm not even going there tonight. This was all about your sales, your customers, your follow-up, increasing your transaction amount, increasing the number of times they buy from you. If you treat Scentsy like a business, it will pay you like a business. It really will. It is a side hustle for a lot of us. It is a little extra gig, a little extra money, etc. on top of full-time jobs for a lot of us. And that is awesome. But you still have to treat it like a business no matter what. Businesses implement these types of little shift strategies to make big monumental moves. This is how little tiny businesses go big time. This is how a little burger shack turns into McDonald's. This is how a rideshare app turns into Uber. This is how big stuff happens. And if you want big stuff for you and big stuff for your Scentsy business, and you want to bring home big Scentsy paychecks, just start doing these little things. There is not a single person that I'm talking to right now that can't implement these 3 things. I promise you that. I promise you that every single one of you can do these 3 things. So just go out and do it. Make these little shifts. 10% here, 10% there, 10% here, 10% there. That adds up to a big, massive action and change in your business over the course of a year. Stay consistent. Build what's in front of you. Focus on what's in front of you right now. If I have 10 customers in front of me right now, focus on getting 1 more. If I have a $100 order in front of me right now, focus on $10 more worth of sales. If I have somebody that buys from me once a year, get them up to twice a year. Do the little things day in and day out to make big, massive shifts in your business. Okay? Good luck. Comment. Does anybody have any questions that I can answer that's on the live right now? If not, put your questions in the comments below. I will answer them later. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of the month, and I really hope that you'll listen to this video more than once. I hope you'll go listen to Rachel's podcast, because she got this information from another training she had attended. So we might as well just keep passing it around. Listen to as much as you can. The more information you take in, the smarter you'll be. The more you learn, the more you earn. And you are capable of great, big, huge, fantastic things. So go out and get them for yourself. Have a great night.